Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode.
This week's free episode.
Yeah.
You can check out the bonus episode over at patreon.com/The Froe Show.
Yeah, heaps of additional content over there, so check it out.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
Bye.
This? Yes. There you go. I know, pretty darn heavy. She pretty darn hefty. Does that mean?
Send it.
Full send. What whiteboard?
Gla. There we go. I think some water. Do you like my new ankle bracelet?
Ooh.
Look, I'm a hippie boy.
You mean an anklet?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a hippie boy.
Did you get that while camping?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Same. Can we go shoot now?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Froe, and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful co-host, Joe Murray. Hello, Joe.
How you doing?
I'm great. Just to
You
clarify what I was saying no to before at the
Yeah,
start
yeah,
of the
yeah,
episode,
yeah.
Joe just asked if we could go and shoot now,
Yeah.
and I said no,
Sad.
because we have to record the episode.
I'm sad.
But afterwards, we will. What time will we finish? We're starting now, 2:20. We'll be done at like 3:45.
Yeah.
We start copying everything out of here at
Go.
4.
And then sunset for 4:30.
Oosh. Yeah, right. Sick.
How
Nailed
good?
it. Crushing it. Crushing it.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it.
Oi. I like it. I
Um,
like it.
The reason that we're going to go shoot is because, in case you don't follow me on Instagram, which you should go do,
Where would they find you from?
it's at the Frank Menken, THEFRANKMENKEN.
Nice.
You should go follow me over there.
Mhm.
I've been
You
working
should.
really hard on my Instagram game, so
Yes, and it is really good.
go check that out. I'm going to talk about some of that stuff later.
Good.
But for now, I'm going to talk about this hefty boy. Oh, my 70-200 that I got yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
I'm super excited about it. It's
Yeah.
really heavy, so I'm just going to put it down. I could knock someone out with this.
You could.
Like
It is super heavy.
properly just like goosh,
Yeah.
you know? It wouldn't be hard. No, I picked this up yesterday. It is a used
Yeah.
70-200 f2.8, one of the L series ones. It's the Mark 1, so it was made anywhere from 1995 to 2005. So it's anywhere from like 20 to 30 years old.
Yeah.
But I got it for $600, which is incredible.
Yeah.
The Mark 1s go for anywhere around $1,200 to $1,500 usually.
Mm.
But as you can see, this one has a lot of cosmetic damage and stuff. For audio, there's a lot of cosmetic damage and stuff. More specifically, around the bayonet where it connects to the actual camera, there's a lot of paint chips and that sort of thing right at the base. And on the tripod ring, it's called the tripod mount ring is the technical name. Around there is a lot of paint chips and stuff like that. Which apparently bothers a lot of people because I was talking to this guy and apparently he just cannot get rid of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I've had 1 or 2 people inquire and then back out or ghost him and stuff like that.
Just because of the chips on the
Just
tank.
because of the chips. Whereas I'm like, A, it looks kind of sick.
It does.
And B, I'm going to be abusing this lens anyway.
Yeah.
So it kind of works out
It
pretty
does.
well for me, I think.
Hold it. Oh. Just forget how heavy it is.
Yeah, every time I pick it up, I go, ooh.
Ooh.
But it is so heavy because it is the Mark 1. This is the first variation of this lens. So
Yeah.
obviously, over time, it got better. But I'm honestly just happy to have one of this quality. It is still phenomenal quality.
It is, yeah.
It's so good, and it's something that I've been looking at for ages, and now my little family of lenses is officially complete.
It is.
Which is really cool.
Because
that's
we can't talk about the middle one, but
so
it's the little one.
there's the 16. I now have the 16-35 in f4 because I wanted it stabilized. I have the 24-70 2.8, and I now have the 70-200 2.8, which is
And there's 2.8 as well. That's sick.
I'm gonna put my eye up through the.
Can you see anything?
No,
I want to be a part of this too.
it's too dark.
Oh, I can see things.
I can't. It's too compressed.
Whoa. It's all I hate inverted stuff.
You hate that it's inverted.
Like I did terribly with like the Veronica viewfinder.
Oh yeah, because the whole thing's inverted.
Yeah.
That does my head in.
I hate
actually. Yeah, but I'm so excited to use this. I haven't actually had the chance to shoot on it yet, which is what Joe was talking about before. So after this episode, we're gonna go out and we're gonna shoot. And I'm gonna shoot on this, and you get to shoot on your boring old stuff.
My boring old stuff.
What? Who said that?
It's only
Sorry?
a week old.
Did you bring your drone today?
Of course I brought my drone.
I'm thinking we go to the lookout and
Ooh.
go there, like just that little bit further.
I'm keen.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that'd be dope.
Let's do that, because then
That'll be good for that camera.
Yeah,
too. That lens.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, your camera looks like your camera looks cheap when it's on that lens.
Yeah.
It looks bad.
It looks tiny. Like you can see a picture of it on my Instagram actually if you want to go check it out. I'm just gonna plug my Instagram hard this episode. There's a picture on my Instagram.
Which is where?
Which is the FRANKMENKEN. And the body just looks tiny.
It does.
It just looks exceptionally small. Like, I'm gonna hold that up. The camera probably can't see it super well, but
It looks out of place.
it makes it look like it's an M50, like one of the little, like it looks like a pocket camera that
It
someone
does.
stuck a gigantic lens onto. Chuck it on your ADD, because that'll look a bit beefier.
It'll
I think.
look a bit nicer.
Yeah, and it might balance it out a bit better.
Can you take that?
Yeah.
Teamwork.
And you know what's really sad,
What?
exceptionally sad, is that my label maker is out of
No.
paper, so I can't label it.
Ah.
It's really depressing.
Yeah, that's a little better.
It's a little bit better. I think this lens is just gonna dwarf every camera that it's on, regardless.
Yeah. It's always really strange to me seeing like the ADD is so much chunkier than the EOS R.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it
just-
makes sense. It's a DSLR versus a mirrorless camera, so
It does, but like.
it is logical. But
Oh,
But yeah, so now my lens hunt is done, unless like I end up upgrading the 70-200, but I can't imagine that that'll happen anytime soon.
No.
It's such, and on the ADD it's like 110 to 350 lens. Actually, let me do the actual mass on that. That was a guess.
Whoa. I'm just gonna take a photo of this and show it.
Times 1.
Look.
70 times 1.6. Whoa. 70 times 1.6 is 100. So it's 112 to 320. I was pretty close.
Yeah, that's good maths.
I did well with my guess.
I can feel it focusing.
Yeah, it goes like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
It is very interesting.
I'm just gonna take this off the camera.
That's fine.
But yeah, I'm super excited. So that's my last lens upgrade for a while, which is a bit strange.
Well, you've been sitting with just these two for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I got the 16-35 like halfway through last year. So I haven't had the 16-35 for super long, but also like this and the 16-35 are specialty lenses. Really is the gist of it. But
Yeah.
the 24-70 is so versatile that that's just an everyday carry lens, really.
Yeah.
But as an extension of this, I just bought a new camera bag.
Oh, is this the one you sent me?
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to talk to you about it off the show, but I'll talk to you.
What do you want to
now.
talk about it on the show?
Well, I
Go.
didn't really get a chance to look at it. Maybe I should just do it now.
No, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. It's okay. Where can I actually? I'm gonna put this right here. Oh. There we go. Actually,
we
that's sick.
We need another one.
That's our next set. On our next set, we'll have the lenses and stuff in the
As
background.
many lenses we can put on them.
Yeah. We'll buy all of those like travel cups.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Peter McKinnon, like 2 years ago, released this camera bag, and it was a travel camera bag, and it was designed to pack for 3 to 5 nights plus all your camera gear.
Oh, that's sick.
And so what he's announced like a week or two ago is this new bag. It's a 35-liter bag, and it's an everyday carry bag. So it's a proper backpack.
Yeah.
And it's totally modular. Like the internals all come out, and it doesn't use the traditional divider systems. It uses like cubes. So you take the cubes out, and they're like separate parts of the bag, but then you put them in the bag and zip it closed, and it all stays together. So
that's pretty cool.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of different options. You can get like you can get 2 small cubes, 1 large cube, or you can get just 1 cube and a bunch of dividers. So it's really, really modular. And there's like a section at the top where you've got like this section to sit your camera in.
Yeah.
But that section expands. So if you open the bag and you take out the cubes, you can expand that top section to be larger, so you can fit more stuff in it. So you could you could pack for a couple nights in there, and then use the rest of the space in the bag for your gear. So it's super, super cool, and it's like
cool.
Fall-proof, shock-proof, water resistant, not waterproof, but water resistant. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So it's currently up on Kickstarter. I actually don't know if there's any left. But I'll check right now.
But so did you buy one?
So I bought one, yeah. So technically what I did is I backed the Kickstarter. And by backing the Kickstarter, you buy a bag, and then they'll send that to me in October somewhere. I'm just checking now. Okay, there are 4 bags left of the 1,250.
There are 4 left.
Yeah. You know, if you want one.
What about those other ones? Are they still around? The last ones you were talking about, the big ones?
Yeah, so they're $600 Australian.
Yeah, okay.
But yes, they're still around. You can buy them on the Nomadic website.
Yeah, okay.
So if you want that instead.
Don't know.
But either way, these will be up for like actual sale in October. So
far away.
This is like the pre-sale sort of.
Yeah.
And then they'll actually so I got the bag plus the large cube. So it's like 3 lanes is the best way to describe it. Put your camera in the middle one and a little bit of space at the end, and then you can do 2 lenses and then whatever else.
Yeah.
Plus like the rest of the organizational stuff. So yeah. So that'll come in October, which I'm really excited for. So
that's really cool.
That'll be my first like proper camera bag that's not like a cheap one.
Not like this one.
Yeah, like that one. Because this one, my messenger bag is fantastic, but it's too small, unfortunately. And I still use it a lot for like for if I'm just like a day trip or something like that. But if I'm going to be going somewhere and I need like a proper bag, then
unless you take your like clothes bag and then that bag,
my camera gear doesn't fit in there anymore. Like if
I
I put all of it in there,
especially with this hefty boy.
Yeah, with this big kahuna. Yeah.
Can't take that in your check.
Wait,
luggage.
can you grab the lens hood? Yeah.
Yeah, this is insane. Like, what the heck?
So this is how long it has to be. There we go.
Insane.
Why? This makes the second you put the lens hood on it, you look like a photojournalist.
True.
Like I immediately look like or like a paparazzi.
Yeah.
Like I look like I'm gonna take a picture through your bathroom window.
Or a wildlife photographer.
Yeah, this lens isn't long enough to be a wildlife photographer though.
No.
You need a
Unless you do like insects.
yeah, or you got a ×2 converter,
Yes.
which I think I will get at some point.
How much are those?
They're not too much. They're basically just like 2 or 3 pieces of glass that just ×2 everything. And then it'll be a 140 to 400.
Right.
And that's like,
Yeah.
you know, crazy zoom. But yeah, so that was my big purchase
Mm-hmm.
of this week. I wonder what next week's will be. Seeing
We
as
got to get another lens for next week's episode. Right?
yeah, I don't. I'm gonna put it here. Oh, it really is super heavy. I genuinely can't over exaggerate how heavy it is. It's like properly.
Yeah.
It's hefty.
Yeah.
I would say like. How much do you think this weighs? Like
I
a
have
kilo?
no idea. Yeah, probably.
Kilo and a half?
Yeah, probably a bit more than a kilo.
I'm gonna Google it.
I was gonna say probably be smarter to Google it than to just guess.
To 200.
It's like 8 kilos, that lens.
Wait. It is
Mark 1.
Yeah. That's the Tamron one. We don't want the Tamron one.
You want the Canon one.
Yeah, it's 1.3 kilos.
Wow.
Is the lens weight? That's fun. So, yep, that's really heavy. Just
Yeah.
just acknowledging that.
Yeah.
So my next purchase after this is long term. This is not going to be soon. This is going to be
I'm surprised you already have a plan.
in a while. I always have this planned.
Oh, okay.
Like I know what my next purchases are all going to be.
Ah.
Like it's literally like my next purchase is a better drone, a better photo drone.
A better DJI one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna get the Air 2 or the Air 2S.
Are they still the little boys?
No, they're not little anymore. The Air 2s are basically what the Mavic Pros used to be, and now the
Right.
Mavic Pros are just like insane.
Yeah.
Because the problem that I'm having now is that I'm running into issues with wind. So like the Mavic Mini
Well, it is tiny.
is it's just too small.
It's there if you want to grab it.
Yeah.
It is.
It's just too small.
Yeah.
For the stuff that I'm doing. So I went away last weekend, which you would know if you were following me on Instagram at the Frank Mencken. And I was at the coast, and so a lot of the times when you're flying over the ocean, there's a lot of wind because there's nothing to stop it.
Yeah.
And I had several times, one in particular, where I almost lost my drone.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I remember seeing this
So I
on your Instagram at the Frank Winkin.
yeah, it wasn't very smart.
Tell me the story.
So basically, what happened? I was at a place called Point Arkwright. It's a beautiful location. Basically, you come out at this lookout, and then you can walk to the left of the lookout, and there's all these little like goat tracks that go off to the side onto like proper cliff faces.
Yeah.
Love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was on this cliff face, and I sent the drone up, and I was like, oh, you know, it's a bit windy. I'll be a bit gentle. But then I was like, I can't get any photos if I stay close, because it's like a proper cliff face, right? So you really
Yeah.
have to
Get up.
Get
and
on
go
out of
away.
there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I'll just go for it, I reckon. And so I like sent the drone up and just went off like across. I was like probably a couple 100 meters away from me over the ocean.
Whoa.
And it was like I could see that the drone was going like this.
Oh my word.
And like the gimbal was staying stable, but like you know when you can just feel in the controls that it's like
Yeah.
going
Shaky.
like this the whole time. And so I managed to get some photos, some of the best photos I've ever taken, granted. You can see them on my Instagram at the Frank Mencken. And
How do you spell that?
it's at the FRANKMENKEN.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. And and so I got these photos and I was like pumped. I was psyched about them. And then as I turned around to bring it back, the whole drone went onto its side, like almost completely horizontal.
That's so scary.
And I was like, Gah! And then just like evened it out. It was like, let's bring that back now. And then as I came in, the wind died down, so I could kind of stay around that area. But I was like, glad I got the photos I needed.
Oh my word.
So yeah, and it wasn't even like it was sort of windy, but it wasn't super windy.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be scared that it's gonna just.
Yeah.
There's another flight that I had like a day or two before that one, where I was on the beach. I was at Cotton Tree Beach, and I was at the end of a pier, and I launched the drone, and I was flying it over to Pincushion Island. So to give an idea of like the sense of scale there, it's about half a K to fly over to Pincushion Island. It took me like a couple minutes. And it's just like the whole time it was out was terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's just over the ocean. Like if it falls somewhere else, there's a chance, right?
Yeah.
If it falls in the ocean, that's it.
It's
like,
gone.
It's just gone.
Yeah.
Like there's no point looking for it.
Yeah.
Which in some ways would be nicer. Because then it's just like, well,
Alright,
that sucks, I guess.
Time to walk back and contemplate my decisions.
Yeah. But also like as the drone gets older, I'm kind of getting more and more comfortable with just going, like, you know, might as well just send it and get the shot rather than being safe about it and getting boring photos. Actually, I wrote up, I'm just bopping between stuff now. But I wrote on Instagram the other day, I wrote a caption. I've been trying really hard to write good captions.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's like been a part of my new Instagram strategy. But I wrote up this whole caption about how like drones and taking photos with drones has kind of finally clicked in my head. And one of the biggest things for me has been realizing that I don't have to take every photo facing down.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, you're in a drone and you're like, oh, everything facing down is so cool. Like, you know, that's the go-to. But then, like, you know, there's a whole other 90 degrees to, like, play with. And having that click in my head was really, really cool. So there's a photo that I posted on my Instagram, the Frank Mencken, where it's at, like, 40, 45 degrees and it's pointing out and it's like, that photo's sick.
Yeah.
Like that's way cooler than anything I ever did pointing down. And the photo I posted before that is from the same island.
Right.
And like this one is so much more engaging. The one that is of the whole island is so much more engaging than the one that's just the rocks.
Yeah.
Which I found really, really interesting because, you know, I've never put that much thought into it.
Yeah.
I've just kind of the flying of the drone has been the interesting part, and now I'm actually like, oh well, maybe I can actually take really good photos with it rather than making excuses about why I can't take good photos with the drone.
It's because it pointing down doesn't look good in this spot or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I used to make a bunch of excuses, like, you know, the sensor's too small, or it auto exposes, so I don't have creative control, or you know, it doesn't have good low light, or stuff like that. And now I'm like, oh, I can take really good photos on this.
Yeah.
I was just making excuses for myself, which sucks, but is also totally fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was super cool. But so yeah, my next upgrade is going to be a better drone.
Yeah.
Mostly for the safety of my gear, also for RAW capabilities.
Yes.
Because the Mavic Mini only shoots in JPEGs, which sucks. But that's my next one.
Yeah.
And then it'll be a new camera body.
A new body. Which one?
R5, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were
Or
gonna
the R3.
say. Whichever's cheaper.
Well, the R5 will be cheaper, but it'll depend on how good and what my budget is like, and how good the R3 is.
Right.
Because a 1DX mirrorless body is like my dream.
Yeah.
Like that just makes me go like, you know?
Why don't you just buy that next?
Because it's gonna be like 13 grand or something stupid.
So you got a year to save up for it.
Buddy, I don't I don't make enough money for that. I don't think there is a price just yet. Canon, not the Yamaha R3. The rumored no, sorry, I lied. No, there's no set price yet.
No.
It will sit between. Oh, hang on. It will sit between the R5 and. Where was that? Where was that? What?
And just like that, it was gone.
No, I hate when it's like when you can read it in the Google preview, and then the second you go to actually read it, it just is not there anymore.
Oh yeah, I hate that.
No, it's gone. Okay, sick. Well, the 1DX Mark III was 10 grand when it was released in Australia, so I'd be willing to bet that it would be around there somewhere.
Okay.
But
what if you bought one second hand then?
An R3.
No 1DX. If you waited a little longer.
I don't want to go back to DSLR though.
1DX.
Yeah.
The mirrorless one.
No, that's the R3. The 1DXs aren't mirrorless.
Oh, that's what you said just before.
No.
Thought you said 1DX. Oh, you said 1DX.
The R3
mirrorless.
is a mirrorless version of the 1DX.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really want to get the R3.
Right.
And I wonder if I could do. I know Canon does like payment plans and stuff. So I might do something like that. But we'll see where I'm at when it comes out.
Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah. Exciting stuff. I'm very keen to use the lens more. I love it a lot. And it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
That is the end of my gear segment,
Right.
which lasted a lot longer than I was anticipating.
No, gear segments are the best segments.
Yeah.
I still love all the scratches.
I do too.
It's so much better.
Yeah, it makes it feel like it was actually used as a tool and it wasn't
Yeah.
just kept in someone's home.
Yeah.
Because that always it's like, I don't think I'm going to sell my lenses, but I would hate for them to look pristine when I sell them. Just because I would feel like I hadn't used them to their full potential.
Yeah.
Which is why I put UV filters and stuff on them, because I know that I'm a bad person who doesn't use lens caps. And I still want them to have resale value.
Yeah.
But I also want to treat them like a tool and not as a prissy princess. And, keep them under wraps and in bubble wrap and never take them out on the beach because I could get sand in them, or
Yeah.
just use your gear. It makes me so sad when I see people that are like, oh, I won't take this, I won't do this, I won't do that because blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want to hurt my gear. Obviously, be careful. Don't go dangling your camera off of a cliff, but risk it a little bit.
Just fly your drone across to an island.
Yeah.
In stupid high winds.
Yeah. Just risk it a little bit. Just think about it. Examine the risk. Maybe do something a little bit illegal. And just have fun. I've definitely done some allegedly illegal stuff with my drone. I've allegedly definitely done some illegal stuff with my drone.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think if I've done. I don't think I've done anything.
Have you ever flown it above a person?
I was gonna say yeah, I have.
Then
Yeah,
you have.
Yeah. Because you can't actually fly them at beaches.
No. Not technically.
No.
But technically, I didn't launch from a beach at any point.
Well, that's fine then.
Technically,
As
I
long
was
as you didn't fly over anyone.
within 20 meters. As long as you're 20 meters above them, it's fine, I think.
You sure?
Is how the drone laws work, yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
I've definitely launched one amidst 100 people.
Oh, no, I did that 3 days ago. Never mind. Oh, I did a dumb thing. I almost killed
Another
my
dumb
drone.
thing?
Yeah, like
Again?
Like no, like this one actually. Like I when I was bringing it back from the island, I brought it back and I was standing on this pier and it was like not a real pier. It was like a sandbag pier. So I was standing
Right.
on these really big sandbags, and you had to like make big steps between them. So there were big gaps between these sandbags. And the drone came back and I was hovering it there so that I could grab it and flip it. And it hovered and I went to grab it and stuck my finger in the propeller and it turned off, flipped, went boom, and was like and lodged itself right in the crack at the corner, like right in the
Oh my
edge where it would have
goodness.
fallen into the water.
Oh, that's so scary.
So I was like, Gah!
Yeah.
But yeah, so risk your gear. It's more fun.
More fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's good for the heart, right?
exactly. It's like cardio.
Yeah. You can land that drone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that because you told me how to, like, when I took it in January, and like the only way I'd learned to stop it was to grab it and flip it. And like the first time I did that, I like shredded my hand because I like grabbed it and it sat like right in my palm. And I flipped it and I had like cuts all over my hands. And it was intense. It wasn't just little scratches. Anyway, so that was fun. And then
Smart
I
boy.
landed it every single time after that.
This is fair. I did too. Actually, I haven't
really?
I haven't flipped it since then.
It's scary.
Yeah, like that. And that had never happened to me before.
Yeah.
I've always just gone flip.
You have, yeah. I've seen you do it heaps of times.
Yeah, and I just got overconfident and I just went and
Yeah.
just shredded my fingies.
Yeah, no.
But
Not
well,
fun.
that's fine. I want to talk a little bit about Instagram.
More about Instagram
No, well, we haven't talked about like.
specifically.
Yeah, I've just been plugging.
Yes.
Which is part of my Instagram strategy. So I've kind of revamped my Instagram strategy. And so far it's been working, which is really cool. So even without the stuff that I was talking to you about the other day, it's still been growing, which is
Oh, have you stopped that?
awesome. No, but
Oh.
it takes breaks.
Right.
Anyway, that's a whole other thing. I might talk about that in the Patreon thing at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically what I've been doing is I've been doing a couple things. The first thing, and this is actually not me plugging, but go look at my Instagram so that you can have an idea of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And while you're there, you should follow it. So what I've been doing is I've been paying attention to a couple more things. The first thing is I've been focusing a lot more on my stories, and just making that a part of my everyday. So rather like if I'm going to text someone something, I text them, but then I also put something on my story. Sort of like that.
Yeah.
So the best example of that is this. I made a video and I put it on my story of me picking up my 70 to 200. I'll play that so that you can kind of get an idea of. Oh, hang on. No, that's me. Is it me? I don't know. Hello? Clear in that last story. I've been looking for this lens for the past like 2 years, and I haven't been able to find one that was cheap enough for me to actually warrant buying it, because I'm going to destroy this thing, essentially, is what it comes down to. But I found one on Facebook Marketplace for way cheaper, and I am so excited. It's got a bit of wear and tear. You can see that it's got some scratches on it and things like that. But I'm so fine with it. The image quality is great. There's no problems with the internals, and I'm just so excited. So it's just that, like, you know, putting that stuff on your story and having people interact with that. I had heaps of people reply to that story and be like replying and interacting, which is really cool. So just being more active with Instagram stories. That's step one.
Yeah.
Like over the past week, I've probably posted like 8 stories a day, something like that. Pretty solid effort.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I've been focusing on is the grid as a whole. So the idea is that people should see my images individually and be able to recognize them based on the style. But also they should be cohesive within my actual feed. So that means checking them before I post them, making sure that they go together with the rest of my feed, and keeping sort of the same colors and tones similar. So at the moment, that means that I'm posting a lot of photos with blues in them.
Yeah.
So every photo that I've posted either has blue or green in it over the past 6 weeks, give or take. Like 2 months. And so those are the colors that I've chosen, is green and blue. It can be anything, but just making it cohesive. Like if you look at my Instagram now,
yeah,
it all kind of flows now. And then, but down here,
yes,
it's just mismatched. And like individually, they could be good photos, but they just look bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look as.
Whereas that's aesthetic.
Yes.
And it's not perfect. Like the top is much better than the bottom. But I've been planning them in this app called Preview. Not sponsored. I've just been doing it like this.
Oh, yeah.
So it shows you all the posts that you've already posted. And then all these pictures will be posted by the time this episode goes up. I was like, maybe I shouldn't show that. The pictures along the top there are the ones that I haven't posted yet. So I can see kind of how they fit in with the rest of my grid.
That's very cool, actually.
Which has been really helpful. So that's the second thing that I've been doing is making sure that everything fits together really nicely, like a really weird, funky jigsaw puzzle that has no edges. So
yes,
that's been the other thing. The other thing I've done is I've tweaked my bio a little bit to make it a little bit clearer what I do. So it was sounds like Dunk, amateur climber, professional photographer, and then fully stoked, and then that was it. And now someone is calling me. Should I answer it?
Yeah, why not?
It's a private number.
Oh.
Hello, this is Frank speaking. No. That's okay. Have a good one.
Sad.
Bye.
Sad.
She sounded very distraught.
Oh, really?
She was like, hello, is this Elizabeth? No. I'm sorry, I have the wrong number. I was like, okay, have a good day. You too. Sorry. Yeah, so it was amateur climber, professional photographer, fully stoked. And I think that was it. And now I've made it. It's the first half is the same. It's my name rhymes with Dunk, which slight variation but makes a bit more sense. Amateur climber, professional photographer. I take photos of the places I've been, and then like a pin emoji, and it says Brisbane, Australia. So
nice.
You know where I am, you know what I do, you know why I do it, and you know how to say my name. Important stuff.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I've been doing is I've been putting a lot more work into my captions. So every single one of my captions is now long.
Right.
And not like exceptionally long, but like long enough that it'll take like a minute or two to read if you do. Like that's the length we're talking about there. And so and also I've been trying to post stuff that will keep people engaged. So looking at things like edits, seeing what the changes are, videos at the end, stuff like that. So really what I'm working towards is getting people to stay on my account for as long as possible. Yeah. Because that's what Instagram values, or at least that's what we think Instagram values. Yeah. So Instagram values people sitting on someone's post for 5 minutes because it's keeping them on the app for longer. So if someone's sitting there and staring at someone's post for a while because they're swiping through stuff or swiping back and forth to check it out or reading the caption, Instagram immediately goes, okay, this is a high value post that people care about or want to be invested in. And so I've been doing that a couple ways, like what I said, showing the edits, things like that. And making the captions a lot longer also allows for them to be a little bit more human. So you can kind of get a bit more personality through,
Yeah.
rather than like doing a random caption that's like blah 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 quote Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah.
Like actually actively writing and being like, you know, this photo was taken when I was doing this and it reminds me of this because of blah blah blah. Like, you know, actually giving it context and giving it a story and talking. And then because it feels personal and it feels, and because it is, it's like an actual story or an actual comment, people will reply to that, and then you can have conversations and discussions. And Instagram values comments and replies, and it values things like shares. So if the caption's really good and someone shares it, that is a +1 point for me. Like clearly that content was so valuable to this person that they wanted to share it with the people that follow them.
Yeah.
So it's all these things to try to get people to stay engaged and try to, you know, keep with the content.
Yeah.
But that's all the big changes I've made to my Instagram over the past couple of weeks, and it's been going really well. So this has been about 30 days in the making. So I can have a look at my plus 30 days interactions. But this gives you a really, really good idea of like what the change is. So I have done no promotions over the past month. Previously, I think in the month before that, I did do a promotion.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. This is my favorite stat. Over the last 30 days, I've reached 49% less accounts. So 49% less accounts have seen my stuff. But I have 27.2% more interactions on my content. So more likes, more comments, more shares, things like that. So whereas 50% less people are seeing it, almost 30% more are interacting with it.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
That is very interesting.
And then my followers has gone up almost 14%, which is also very good.
Yeah.
So super, super interesting. And I've been posting every day for the last little bit. I don't know how long that is sustainable, because I'm not constantly camping in beautiful locations as much as I would love to be. But I'm going to, you know, keep posting as much as I can.
Well, if we shoot every week, and then I don't know, if you do something else in the week, if you go on 2 shoots a week, that'd be enough.
Yeah.
For every day.
And ultimately I'll end up with a backlog as well. So
yeah.
But it is just making time for that as well, which is important. But yeah, so that's kind of the Instagram strategy that I've taken over the past month or so, and it's been working really well. I went from just under 800. I think I was at like 795, and I'm now at 915 followers today.
Wow.
This is going pretty well.
Very well.
And the other thing that I've been doing actively is engaging with people's stuff. So replying to people's stories, replying to their posts, commenting, sharing, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Being engaged, so that Instagram actually sees you as like a valuable member of, you know, the community as a whole. But yeah.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting.
So that's cool. That's all my stuff.
Yeah.
That's everything I've been working towards. My camping trip was great. I went away over the weekend. Obviously took a bunch of photos. Had a great time. Reevaluated my life a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to do that on every camping trip.
Got to do that on every camping trip. You just sit at the beach and just like...
like dark o'clock.
Yeah. And just like... It was great. It was so good. There was like... It's like right at the end of this pier, and then at night, obviously, the tide's coming in.
Yeah.
And so you sit at the end of this pier, and there's like one spot, and it just like crashes up.
Oh,
all the water crashes up, but there's one spot that you can sit where it'll never hit you.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just sitting right there, and you can watch it all crash.
That's crazy.
It was beautiful. It was always too dark for me to get pictures of it, which sucked. But
you get like a super long exposure, something.
Yeah, but I didn't have a tripod.
You could have. Well, now you can just rest it on that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I did do a couple long exposures, but they're all like leaning on my sandals or something. So
it didn't work very well.
They did, but it's just there's a lot of ground is the problem, and not a lot of the rest of the scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was super good. Had a great time.
Nice.
That's kind of everything from me. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
I mean, I don't know. Not really. It's interesting you mentioned like framing though, because like a conversation I had the other day is like, comparing how you frame a shot for a video to how you'd frame a photo. Like, they have some similarities, but would you say they're like nearly hand in hand?
No, not really.
No.
It's some stuff carries, things like rule of thirds carries.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it does carry over, but really only like in terms of where you want to start or finish a scene. So
Right.
like, this is what Stanley Kubrick used to do. He would set the end of his scene to look like a photograph.
Right.
So the end of this or the start of the scene, like one or the other,
Mm.
like it would be the end of the scene would be the photo, and then he would just kind of rewind it to the point before that point. So like if the photograph that he wants is a silhouette against a backlit window, that's the end of the scene, and then the rest is say the character walking into scene. That's kind of how I think of it. So yes, they go hand in hand, but also you have to think about the rest of it as well.
Right. Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm kind of realizing that because I started doing a lot more photography after I was learning, or while I was learning a lot about framing shots for video. So I guess from my perspective, I'm kind of coming more from a videography experience. Well, well, it's not very much experience, but like compared to you who came from photography first.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do something someday to like
see what the difference is.
Yeah, see how our brains work differently or something. I don't know. Could be interesting.
That could be interesting. Oh, actually, you know, I do have one other thing to talk about, but it is not at all media related.
Well, it should be.
Should we save it for the Patreon?
Is it what's...
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we should save it for the Patreon.
Patreon? Because that's kind of turned into that anyway.
It is, yeah.
All right, we'll save it for the Patreon. I have one thing to talk about on the Patreon.
Yeah.
All right, well, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we finish up?
Nothing super interesting.
We can have an early mark for the main show.
Yeah.
It's like late afternoon. I'm a bit...
Yeah, I'm a bit tired.
This is why we don't record in the afternoon.
No.
This is the reason. Our brains don't work anymore.
No.
Okay, well, let's finish it up there. Joe, where can they find us on social media?
They can find us on Instagram at Froe Media.
Yes.
Or on Twitter at the Froe Media.
Yes. And check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/The Froe Show.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to or watching this episode on YouTube. We'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. My goodness. Okay. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Oh, my goodness.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.